Good morning, friends. I'm Pastor Ben Hayes from First Baptist Church, Dadeville, Alabama, bringing you our thought for the day on this Tuesday morning. What a great day God has created for us. I know it's supposed to rain here this afternoon, but God is always good and always blesses, and He's got a purpose and a plan for your life today. Do you know what it is? Because He'll tell you if you'll ask Him. He wants you to follow Him, to worship Him, and to serve Him. And you just need to figure out how you can best do that. Well, today we're going to continue our journey through the book of Ecclesiastes. And as I shared with you yesterday, this is King Solomon in his older age. Um, and most likely, as you read this, you get the picture that he might not be quite as optimistic as he was in the book of Proverbs. Truth is, I think that because of his sins. I wasn't quite sure exactly what word I wanted to use there. His sins in his older age of marrying these foreign women and following after these false gods had led him to a time of depression and frustration because nothing seemed to happen that was good. Because you'll read his story and you find that because of his turning away from God, God continued to send enemies, that his life was filled with nothing but violence and war towards the end of his days. Well, as we come to verse 9 of chapter 1, listen to what he says. That which has been is what will be. That which is done is what will be done. And there is nothing new under the sun. Is there anything of which it may be said, see, this is new? It has already been in ancient times before us. There's no remembrance of former things, nor will there be any remembrance of things that are to come by those who will come after. Um, you know, as he said at the very beginning, vanity of vanities. Everything is futile. There's nothing. And as he comes to this point, he says life is just this continuous cycle of the same thing over and over and over again. It's kind of like when you're running on a treadmill, the scenery never changes. You're right there, and it's always the same thing. Well, this is the picture that he's giving here. Because people have always been people, haven't they? Throughout history, they have the same problems, they have the same faults. Now, of course, in our day, our problems are a little bit different because of the prosperity that we have here in America and in our current generation. But in truth, the problems are the same. Everybody is seeking more, looking for more fame, looking for more power, looking for more possessions, looking for more money. They're always trying to get ahead in life. And of course, my generation uh, did pretty well, but this next generation and the generation after that and the generation after that, what they're finding is that their situation is not as good. They are struggling more. They are working harder and having less to show for it. And that's always been this cycle that goes on and on and on. And so, what Solomon is telling us here is that the vast majority of people work hard, they strive, and they never have fame, and they never find their fortune, and they gain nothing with all of the work that they do in trying to get to that point where they'll be happy and where they'll be satisfied. Now, you would think as you read this, as you follow along, that this is a contradiction to what God has promised. But really, what it reminds us of is that this is a call to find what exactly it is God wants for us to have. When Jesus talked about the abundant life, he was not talking about wealth or fame or power. He was talking about the contentment that comes with what he's provided for us. And so this passage really is a call for the gospel, because the world in which we live is in bondage to sin, in bondage to self. And outside of a relationship with Christ, humanity is unable to explain that reality. They cannot find satisfaction in life. They cannot change the things that are happening. And that's why it's so important that we as believers share the hope of the gospel that is within us, because only the Word from heaven, Jesus Christ Himself, who came into the world from above, can change that destiny, can open the way to understanding what God is doing and escaping the bondage that so many find themselves in. He's done a new thing. When Jesus came, he created a new world. He gave to us a new covenant. He's given us new birth and new life and new hope, and a new commandment that was written on the fleshly tablets of our heart. And here's what that new commandment is: love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. And if we'll do those two things, he says, we will fulfill the law and the prophets, and we'll find ourselves experiencing the joy that God has given to us. Solomon says there's nothing new under the sun. When you came to know Jesus Christ, he gave you a new name, and that is something new, and that's something to be glorified um, and worshiped as we look to the Father. I hope that you have a great day today. I hope that you are focusing on him and seeking what he has for you. God bless.